Bears Fan Podcast, episode 62. Like, follow, subscribe. The day I was not looking forward to has finally come. Justin Fields traded to the Steelers for a conditional sixth that turns into a fourth if he plays half the 51% of the snaps. On top of that, yesterday late last night, traded for Keenan Allen for a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of signed Deandre Swift. Yeah, we haven't talked about that. Signed Deandre Swift. We traded for Bates, the center. I think that's the only thing we talked about. We
Yeah, we
signed
talked
another
about that.
center from the Rams. His name escaped me right now.
It's Coleman something.
Coleman
Yeah,
Shelton.
Coleman Shelton,
Um,
Jonathan Owens.
Jonathan Owens, the CB from the Packers. He's okay. He's more of a
He's a
tackle guy,
safety.
or he's a
Yeah,
safety. I thought he playing.
yeah.
I thought I remember him playing nickel, but he's decent. Nothing special. But before
A,
we get
a
into all
lot
the
of depth, a
Yeah, I
lot of
guess to me
depth
that's
on
what
the
I
offensive
saw.
line.
Depth on the offensive line. It looked like maybe they'll compete for starting center. And then
I
one of
don't
them.
think I think Coleman Shelton's probably got the he's got the upper hand in that because he was with Shane Waldron for a little while, so he knows Shane Waldron's offense. He's able to call out the protections and everything at
Okay.
the line of scrimmage, especially
He
with a rookie
started every
quarterback.
game for the Rams last year too, I think, right, or
Yeah,
something like that.
and he was the 17th ranked center PFF wise
Yeah,
last year, and that's an upgrade over what we've been having. Of course,
yeah,
we
last
had
few years. But I don't know if that's a coaching thing because Mustafer was much better on the Ravens. Like, so I
I
don't.
mean,
Again, I don't
yeah,
know if that's a scheme thing. I don't know. That it frustrates me, and I guess we're gonna get into that. I guess we won't go too long, but go back to the number one topic everyone's talking about. Justin Fields gets traded. We kind of assume we throughout all this. I think we thought it was going to be the Steelers. That's who I always thought. That's personally who I thought was best for Justin. Even though they're saying that he's QB2, I don't really like. Yeah, sure, everybody's QB2 till you get in camp. Like Russell Wilson was QB2 when he was a rookie after they
yeah,
signed Matt Flynn, and then what happened? So,
exactly.
who knows? I didn't like the compensation. I think Foles has been riding the coattails of that really good trade he made for last year's first round pick, and then he had a decent draft last year. But a lot of the things he's been doing, I personally feel have been questionable. I think he played the waiting game too long. He let every quarterback on the market get traded and signed before he made a move with Justin. If you were going to be done with Justin, he should have been done with it right away. And Justin should have been the first quarterback gone. I think we would
Realistically,
have.
yeah,
Yeah, but what happened was a domino effect happened. What 10 different quarterbacks got signed or traded in a week? Um, and they were standing there holding, you know what I mean? And I guess everybody knew, except for me, that Justin was going to be gone. Um, and we had to take a deal that I don't. He put out a statement saying that it was in the best interest of Justin, and I do think that is true. I don't know how many, unless he just flat out wanted to be the starter, maybe Denver. Um,
well, see, that's the thing. And, realistically, when you look at it, so Kirk Cousins gets signed to Atlanta. There was talk about the backup job in Philly, backup job in Arizona. So Philly and Arizona, those two quarterbacks are signed to long-term extensions. Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year deal. So really, there's no competition there, right? He goes to Pittsburgh, and Russell Wilson's on a 1-year, $1.2 million deal.
yeah,
Now here's the thing. You talk about quarterback sitting and learning and everything else like that. Coming out of college, Justin, it was kind of the one of the things where we wanted him to sit. Everybody else was saying, even people that were close to him in college were saying, hey, he probably has to sit for a little bit. It might take him a little bit longer to get used to the speed of the NFL, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Pittsburgh's in a real good situation because it's a $5 million cap hit this year, and Russell Wilson only signed a 1-year, $1.2 million deal. So Russell Wilson probably isn't going to be there next year anyway. So they pick up, let's just say, even if they pick up his 5th year option in Pittsburgh, that's only 25 million.
they
That's a
won't.
pretty decent price for a quarterback. You don't know. They could work out an extension kind of like they did with Jordan Love
Yeah,
in Green Bay, where it's not a 5th year option, but it's
well,
a 1-year extension essentially, to maybe lower the cap hit a little bit to stay in Pittsburgh and then work on an extension based on how he plays out the season next year.
yeah,
And I think that's probably the best bet. That was the best landing spot realistically if he was looking to start within the next couple of years. Russell's not a bad quarterback to learn behind if he's willing to play the mentor role. but that's another thing too, is we don't know if he's willing to play the mentor role.
Tom has
Um,
also shown he'll go back and forth between quarterbacks in the season.
yeah,
So
Mike Tomlin doesn't give a fuck as long as he's winning.
yes,
So he doesn't care who the quarterback is as long as he wins.
yes,
And that's another thing too. But like who besides George Pickens, because they traded Deontay
Deontay
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah. I think
So
they had
besides
Calvin
George
Austin. They got some
Pickens,
good tight ends. They had Darnell Washington last
well,
year. They got
they got
Fryermuth.
Fryermuth.
I mean, they'll draft well. They draft well. They drafted Pickens. They drafted like they'll draft well. The Steelers are a great organization to go to, and that part is good for Justin. I think letting this all play out, let the media build a bad narrative for Justin, where it's like, oh, Justin sucks now because they only got a 6th round pick for him. And I think
Yeah, that kind
that's
of changes the narrative a little bit,
yes,
doesn't
and
it?
and that's what I did to get back to polls. I guess that he didn't have much leverage, but I don't like a lot of these deals. I guess Keenan Allen deal's okay since we're getting a rookie quarterback, so it won't infringe upon us too much. But we traded more draft capital for our old vet player that his own team really didn't even want. Um,
I wouldn't say that. They
they
wanted
didn't
him.
want him at the
They
price that
approached
we're
him.
paying him.
Yeah, well, they approached him for a pay cut because they were so over the cap. I mean, they did the same thing with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, but they were like, okay, fine, we'll take pay cuts. Keenan Allen's like, no, I'm not taking a pay cut.
Well,
I've
I
put
mean,
in
yeah,
11 years here
yeah, I
and
agree.
busted my ass.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's
Like
not
they
a
didn't,
that, it's
they
not like
didn't.
the team didn't want him. It's
Well, they
just
didn't want to honor the what you said, the 11 years he put in. They didn't give a fuck. So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that
Like
that's not on him. It's not like,
I'm not saying it's on him. I'm just saying like his own. Like they were like, even though they have no wide receivers, they're like, we'll just do whatever with anybody. Um,
I I, I mean they're in prime position to draft somebody.
yeah, but they won't
But
be Keenan Allen. What are the odds of Keenan Allen? Like
but
that's what I
well,
mean.
that's the thing
And
though.
have a relationship with Keenan Allen, or like have a 3-year relationship with your starting quarterback already. Again, these things are important. That's what I'm trying to get into. Where like, yeah, well, you guys know I'm ride or die, Justin. I like the kid a lot. I thought he was never put in a position to succeed, and I do think I don't know if it's because Justin will bounce back or Caleb won't be this generational talent, but I do think the Bears will regret what happened today. I think Poles never had any intention to do what was best for Justin or the team. I mean, I know his job to do best for the team, but I think this move was what was best for himself. Drafting Caleb is what's best for Ryan Poles. He will not get fired. He'll get to attach to Caleb and get 2-3 years. And I think that was the best move for him. I don't know if necessarily it's the best move for our football team. Like, I don't know. We were doing the best move for the football team. We could have just went and paid Kirk Cousins
I
and
disagree
put
with
Justin
you.
as a backup. You think Caleb's better than Kirk Cousins?
I just no, I don't think he's better than Kirk Cousins. But if you're talking long-term future, again, you and I have gone back and forth on this. Justin Fields, to me, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not. Let me put that on record. I'm not saying he's, Mitchell Trubisky. I'm not saying he's dog shit, but he was, lower 10 in the NFL in terms
But
of
his what was
quarterbacks.
around him was lower 10.
It doesn't matter. It
What
doesn't
around you doesn't
matter.
matter.
It
So
does.
then
Look at what CJ Stroud just did in Houston.
yes, but
Look
you
at
can't
it. No,
pick
no, 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 no,
outliers.
no. Hold
You
on.
can't pick
Hold on.
outliers.
Hold on. Hold on. I you're not letting me finish. Desmond Ritter had a better year than Justin Fields did.
Uh, QBR wise, I don't know what wise.
Yeah,
Like
everything,
not
everything,
everything.
every stat besides
Total
rushing
yards,
yards.
touchdowns.
Every stat besides rushing yards, Desmond Ritter had better
Again,
than Justin
I
Fields.
would say I think Desmond Ritter has better talent around him than Justin Fields too. So that you can't throw
Buddy,
touchdowns if you don't got nobody to throw touchdowns to.
Cole Komet, DJ Moore, a true number one wide receiver. Drake London's not a true number one
I would
wide
say he's
receiver. He
borderline.
didn't even throw to Kyle fucking Pitts. So who did Desmond Ritter have?
I
He
mean, he
still
had
had
just a
better. He still had better. Well,
Bijan
Sam Howell.
Robinson.
Sam
Very bad,
Howell.
huh?
Sam Howell with Washington. He was
He's
throwing to
got
Terry. He had
Scary
one guy.
Terry,
He had one guy.
Jaleel Dot. Like they have some good guys.
He had one guy.
Again, I think is
Like
better than DJ Moore. Cole Komet was
there,
700 yards. What do you have?
quarterbacks will elevate their talent. Now, I'm not saying they're going to elevate the talent around them to levels of, Pro Bowl Hall of Famers, you know what I'm saying? But they make the throws to have, they throw the receivers open. Justin doesn't do that. Justin doesn't even throw the ball over the middle of the field. He is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league when it comes to throwing the cross. And that's what DJ Moore and Keenan Allen both do exceedingly well. Justin Fields is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league when it comes to throwing the cross. That's just it's fact. That's not some
I don't
stat I'm making
again
up.
like
Like
what I would say is like the Chicago Bears are one of the worst teams at executing that.
I
Like
just think
everything that's bad about the Chicago Bears offense and their passing attack isn't all Justin's fault.
I'm
That's
not
what I'm
saying it
saying.
is. I'm not saying it is. But I'm also saying that Justin Fields is not it. He's
I
just
don't know
not.
about that. He
He's
was not it yet.
well,
And
we
okay,
could
but so what? So you're saying is Caleb Williams right now, or whoever we get, has got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, top 10 defense. And if so, if they're a good quarterback, they'll elevate those guys. So we're going to the playoffs then and winning the wild
yes,
card.
we should
Okay, that's
100%.
expectations.
Yes,
Okay, then
100%.
that's fine. That's fine. If everyone's saying that they expect Caleb Williams to get us out of the wild card next year, no excuses, then I can get on board with that. If they're saying you
Then
truly believe there's not going to be any rookie, oh, he needs to wait a year or 2 years and learn because we gave Justin a half a season with a decent team, a half a season, and that got him fired because he
yeah,
didn't
I'm
succeed for half a season.
I'm
And the
saying
team he had this year that got him fired was not even close to as good as the team that he's going to have, that Caleb Williams is going to have. And I want him
that's what
held.
and that's what I'm
I
saying.
want
I'm not saying
Eberflus, Ryan Poles, Caleb Williams, all held to the same standard because
I'm not
Justin never got
saying
any of this shit.
I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is going to come in and light the world on fire. What I am saying
That
is
he has to win
that
the NFC North.
he had no, not even the NFC North. He has to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs,
I'm not
it's
talking.
a total bust season.
Yeah,
A
and
total
that's what I'm
bust
saying.
season.
And he's a bust then too.
It
Like
all
that's what I
depends.
mean.
It
And
all
that's
depends.
my problem with all this is that like Justin Fields has been scapegoated. Ryan Poles has a 10 and or not 10. What is Ryan Poles' record? Is the Bears like GM 5 and something or 7 and
It's
something?
completely different, Sean.
Eberflus,
The
what's Eberflus's
standards
record
are
as a head
completely
coach?
different. I thought they should have gotten rid of Matt
Well,
Eberflus. I'm
but
on
why
that
is it
train
totally
with you
different for
completely.
Poles? You're
Huh?
saying Poles couldn't do a good job because he had to get rid of all the bad players for good players, right? But in the midst of that, Justin has to do good with those same players that
No,
Poles.
they didn't even have bad players. They had bad
Okay,
contracts.
so bad
That's what he was
contracts.
getting rid of. And that wasn't his fault. That was all Ryan Pace.
Okay, so but all the bad outcomes of Justin are all his fault.
No, I never said that. I
Well, you're saying he's
never
the worst
those words
passer of the ball over
those
the
words
field.
never came out of my mouth.
Okay,
What
but what I'm
my
saying, you're saying you were pointing out the bad. So what are the bad things Ryan Poles did then? Nothing.
No, absolutely not. He traded
Does
a
the
second
Bears
round pick.
losing record?
He traded a second round pick for a trade. He's had a couple of
Well, I'm
misses,
just saying, does the
but the
Bears
standards
record
are
indicate
different
him?
for a player than they are an
Well,
executive.
I agree
They
the
always
standards are
have been.
different. Well, the standards different. What I'm saying, does the Bears losing is that tied to what Ryan Poles is doing? Are we losing because of Ryan Poles?
No,
So he's done like that's what I mean. Like he's totally detached from that. He just that's what I don't like. Like he's detached from like the only thing like if Claypool isn't good, that's the only thing that counts against him.
no.
Like he hired Eberflus
He's made a couple of bad draft picks. Yes, he has hired Matt Eberflus, and that's the
twice
thing.
now.
And that's the thing is if Matt Eberflus fails, that is a Ryan Poles failure, 100%. If Caleb Williams fails, that is a Ryan Poles failure, 100%. And that's the thing
I
is
think
that
Justin
like
Fields
I
is
said,
his
it's
failing is
different.
the same thing too
No,
because
it is
it
not.
was his job to build the team around Justin.
It's always been he gave him a number one wide receiver and he still couldn't throw the
That's not
fucking
enough.
ball.
That's not enough. Like to just say he gave him a number one wide receiver and he's supposed to just ball.
So
Like
okay,
he's
hold
not
on, hold on,
because he's
hold on.
not Pat Mahomes.
No, not even that. He couldn't throw the ball for over 3,000 fucking yards with a number
Well, he
one wide
got hurt.
receiver.
That's bullshit because this year, if he played all year, even averaging the 170 a game he's throwing, and he missed like 3 games against shit defenses that he would have threw for more than 150 yards.
With an
He
extra
would have
game too.
okay, but
He would
he
have
would
thrown
have
for how much?
he would have thrown for like 3,600.
3,600 yards. Okay.
That's what hurts
With a
and
number
Lamar Jackson
with a number one wide
with
receiver.
one
Okay.
number one. Yes.
So I want you. I'll do this next week too. I'm going to literally go through every quarterback within the last 20 years that has had a true number one wide receiver, and we'll see how many of those guys threw for less than 3,600 yards in total with a shit team around him. Fuck, even I bet you. I don't know for sure, but I'll bet you Blaine Gabbert threw for better yardage when he was on the Jacksonville Jaguars as a first round pick. I'll fucking bet you.
Maybe one season or
It
two.
doesn't
But
matter.
again, but still, but again, that's not only like why is 4,000 yards the only metric? Justin Herbert, Sam Howell, fucking Kirk Cousins. These guys throw
He's
for 4,000 yards. They don't win shit.
he also had a 61% pass completion rating, and that's just not good enough.
Well, I
It's
agree.
just not good enough.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like people get better, and he's playing on a dumpster fire team where we watch guys drop wide open touchdown pass after touchdown pass.
I will agree with you there. There were a couple of throws where, what was that? That one tight end throw where it went right through his hands. There's been a couple of Velus Jones.
Tyler Scott.
I will say I'm not putting all the blame on Justin. I never have put all the blame on
What
Justin.
I'm saying is like
all I'm saying
this
is he
trade
just
is
wasn't good enough.
what I'm
That's
yes, but
all.
the team in total wasn't good enough. Nobody was good enough.
I will. Well, besides DJ Moore, I'll
Yeah,
agree with you
DJ
there.
Moore
I
and
will
like
agree.
fucking Sweat.
The coaching
Yes.
hasn't been good enough. And like you said, Justin Fields has been scapegoated. Absolutely. But again, it's not like he's some uber, yeah, he's got a whole bunch of talent. Okay. His ceiling may be here, but you know what? It doesn't look like he's ever going to get there regardless.
But
He
we only
just
got what
hasn't
I'm in
been
my
good
opinion,
enough.
like I don't think anybody could actually say that we got better than maybe an 8-game sample size of him playing with competent talent around him. Where like this year is the only year you could say where he wasn't literally running for his life. And only half the year because our O line, I think I looked it up, they only played 2 games together. The
Well,
starters.
again, it's not just me that's saying it. You brought it up earlier. Let's talk about the fact that they only got a 6th-round draft pick for him from the Steelers, right? Now, apparently there was talk from Philadelphia. Philadelphia called. They couldn't agree on a price. Blah 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 blah. So, what did Sam Howell just go for? Sam Howell went for a 3rd and a 5th, and there was like a pick swap or
It was
whatever.
like it was for Seattle to move
Yeah, it
up
was Sam
like
Howell. Sam
they
Howell
moved
and a
up
4th
like
and a
20
6th.
spots. But
Yeah, it
they
was like a
moved up like
4th.
20 spots for like a
Yeah,
third.
but Washington picked up a 3rd and a 5th-round pick. So
Yeah.
let's just say Sam Howell went for a 3rd and a 5th-round pick. What did Desmond Ritter go for? Was that a 4th? Something like that. I don't remember exactly what Desmond Ritter went for in Atlanta, but you're gonna sit there and tell me that not a single team offered the Bears a 4th-round pick, but other teams were willing to give up a 4th-round pick for Sam Howell and Desmond Ritter. That kind of tells you how the
I
rest
think they
of
did, and he
the
just
league
wasn't trying to get
views
rid of him
Justin
for that.
Fields.
And again, I don't think that's a good metric because I could just say nobody in the league offered the Browns anything for Baker. They cut him, but a team offered a 2nd and a 4th for Sam Darnold. Teams are stupid. Weird shit happens. Like it's not just because like I said, Baker got cut 3 times.
He finished out his contract in Los Angeles, but he finished the season with them before he went to Tampa.
We got let go though. They didn't re-sign him. They didn't want him. They thought he sucked. But he got cut from the Panthers, cut from the Browns.
Thought you were playing them.
And like I said, Sam Darnold in that time got traded for a 2nd and a 4th. Trey Lance got traded for something.
He got traded for a 6th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like weird shit happens. Like I think for whatever reason,
and Trey Lance is a 3rd-string quarterback right now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the value is just what what the market was at that time. I think Poles was playing chicken for too long, and he hurt him. Like he could have got the Pickett deal for Justin Fields, I imagine, but he didn't want it or whatever. Is what I'm saying. So he ended up doing that. I don't know if maybe he really did. Maybe he spoke to Justin and his people, and they said, "Yeah, we'd like to go to Pittsburgh," or you know what I mean. We want to go. Maybe he didn't give him a name, but he said, "Hey, trade me somewhere where I got a chance to compete for a spot." And Poles just took an L on the deal instead of trading him to Seattle because or whatever. I don't know that, but to say like, "Oh, Mac Jones went for this and Justin went for that," it's like I could pull up Sam Darnold went for a 2nd and a 4th, and Baker Mayfield got cut. Like you know what I mean? Nobody traded anything for Baker. It's like teams do dumb shit. Like that's not the same thing. Baker got cut, and fucking the Browns signed Deshaun Watson to a $200 million guaranteed contract. Like what these teams are doing, I'm not necessarily like yes, they have more info than me, obviously, but that's not all. Like they don't always do the right thing. The fucking Ravens or the Falcons could have traded 2 firsts for Lamar last year and paid him the $40 million. But no, they decided to give it to Kirk Cousins after losing a season instead. Like again, I don't like these. They don't always make the wrong. In hindsight, you know what I mean. And I think will be like I said with Lamar Jackson last year. Teams are going to regret. They were going to regret not giving up those picks for Lamar last year because you're not going to get anybody like the guy. And I think in hindsight, a lot of these people are like, damn, we could have got Justin Fields for a third or whatever. And like I've said before, I think Pittsburgh's a great landing spot for him, and I do wish him the best luck. But I don't want to. I'm gonna be tough on Caleb, not the same like this different way than Justin because look at what Caleb's joining the league getting. Like again, I gave the like I said, the only season last season I judged like Justin was underwhelming. The first two seasons, I like what can I say? Like I watched all the games. Our defense was giving up 35 points a game, and Justin himself was hulking up the score in 28, 30 points a game.
Well,
Last
well,
year he could get yeah
you hit it on the head though when you said that you're going to be tough on Caleb because realistically, no number one overall pick has ever come into a situation the way that Caleb's coming into a situation when he joins the Bears when his name is called, um, day one on draft night, and that's fact. Like
yeah
that's another thing that it's not like we're sitting here and we're spitting hyperbole. We're making shit. No, this is fact. No number one pick has ever come into a situation the way he is. He's got two legitimate stud number one wide receivers, an up and coming tight end, a top 10 defense. It looks like borderline top 10 defense. We'll say we won't,
for sure. Definitely
necessarily
top
call it
half
top
for
10.
100%.
Yeah, top 15 defense, two stud number one wide receivers, rebuilt, revamped offensive line for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of depth in there. We're
They'll
not
be
going to
a
be
top
throwing
50. I
loose.
would well
You
the
know,
last few years they haven't, but with healthy and if they add, they should be top half of offensive line.
Well, see, and that's the thing too, is that he's got no excuse. He's got no excuse. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for him. When this time rolls around next year, if Caleb has a shitty rookie season, I'm gonna be like, bro, that's
This
on
is my
you.
concern. Are Bears these Justin haters, or is it going to be fine if Caleb throws for 4,200 yards and we win 5 games? And is the fucking narrative going to be, well, at least he threw for 4,000 yards? My problem with all of it is like we know. I think I think almost most Bears fans can agree if Justin Fields was on the team next year and he played all the games, we'd be a fringe playoff, if not make the wild card. I
Okay,
just
so let me ask this then, because you bring up an interesting point, right? Just talk about statistics and everything else like that. So let's say Caleb Williams has like a Justin Herbert-esque season, right?
his rookie year,
Where
like
he plays just amazing, lights out, 4,200 yards. I'm not gonna say something astronomical. Let's just say like 4,200 yards, 25 to 30 touchdowns, and less than 12 picks. Okay. So a pretty good overall statistical, almost record-breaking rookie season. We finished with 7 wins. Is that a failure?
I think yes, the season is a failure. I guess I'd probably be higher on Caleb if he did that. I would at least admit that I probably don't think he's a bust. But honestly, I think as a team, 7 wins is a failure for us
I
because I
agree.
I think anybody you could not like Justin all you want, and there's many bad things you can do. But I'm looking at it. We had Keenan Allen. We had some more help. And in theory, we would have traded the number one pick for more stuff. We're making the playoffs with Justin. We might
Well,
not
here's
make it out of the wild card. He might, you know what I mean, have some bad passing games or whatever. He might not throw for 4,000 yards, but I'm comfortable saying I think the Bears would win 9 or 10 games with all the shit we would have got and Justin with his running ability. And like I said, there's plays he can make in the pass game. There's a lot of holes. But I think we would, and just historically, you're just more likely to make the playoffs with a veteran quarterback, mediocre veteran quarterback or not, than with a rookie. Any
well,
rookie,
here's
even
the
if
thing
he's the
too.
best rookie ever.
Here's the thing too, and I'm gonna tell you guys this right now, Bears fans. Um, if Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze or whatever is there at 9, I can promise you that Bears will not be trading out of 9. They will pick 1 and 9, and they will just go with what they have in terms of the draft. Because here's the problem: there's not a lot of day 3 talent, the later round talents
For the
in
wide
this year's
receivers.
draft because of the underclassmen. So only 56 underclassmen declared for the draft this year, as opposed to 108 last year.
Well, money,
Or
yeah, everybody's getting paid.
you know what I'm saying? So like it's that NIL money, like you said, it's not a lot of underclassmen in this year's draft, which is why this year's draft is it's kind of weird. There's a lot of talent on the top end, but day 3 wise, there rounds 3 through 7, there's not a ton of exponential talent. So realistically, and I know, yeah, we got Coleman Shelton or whatever on the 1 year deal, and we got Ryan Bates, and so those two are probably that's probably one of those two is probably going to be your center regardless, and
Yeah.
that's still an upgrade. Like you said, though, offensive line is more of like a chemistry thing. You got to get guys together. They got to play for a few games, this, that, and the other. But um, they will pick Caleb Williams at 1, and if Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze are there at 9, they will not be trading back because I don't want to go into the season with Tyler Scott as my wide receiver 3. And I know there's a lot
I
of
mean, it depends how far
talent.
they fall back because like Brian Thomas, the kid who broke the record,
I know there's a lot of
uh,
talent, on
Keon
the back
Coleman,
end of the first round
the
going into
dude
the
from
second round. I
Oregon,
get that.
Franklin. Yeah, so maybe you're right,
But
not like in the third round, but there's some later first round
yes,
guys I think we could get.
but the gap between Neighbors and Adunze compared to the rest of them, it's a little bit of a pretty big drop
I
off.
don't know.
I will
That I'll
say,
have to disagree because that's how we always remember the Ruggs draft where Justin Jefferson went 3 or like the fourth. What was he, the third or fourth wide receiver taken? Like I think all those guys are good. I think fit will be best, and I think going to the Bears will be a really good fit because you're going to be seeing a lot of single coverage, a lot of loose zone. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are two of the best guys against one-on-one man coverage.
well, no,
Um,
actually, if you take a look at this, it's really weird. They're polar opposites of each other, which works best for the Bears too, because what was I saw a statistic on Twitter earlier today. It was like DJ Moore against man coverage had like a win rate of like 60 something percent, right? While Keenan Allen struggled a little bit. But against zone, DJ Moore had like a 41% win rate, while Keenan Allen had like a 70% win rate or some shit like that. So like one's really good against man coverage, the other's really good against zone coverage. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know
I
one's over the other.
Yeah, I know DJ
But
Moore's high. I think that's more Justin Fields thing. Like you said, Justin has trouble throwing over the middle. Zones probably confused him a little bit.
but that's still like a perfect complement
Yeah,
for each other. And like you said, yes, there is some talent there. Here's my thing. If Malik Neighbors is there at 9, I'm taking him. I
I'm
love Malik
more.
Neighbors.
I think on my head, if Joe Alt's there at 9, if Caleb's your pick, I say take Joe Alt. We have Joe Alt, Darnell Wright. I move Braxton Jones to left guard, or wherever Tevin's not playing that guard, or at least give him a shot to start there. I think Braxton is a really good lineman. I just don't think he's a true left tackle. I think he's more of a right tackle, maybe even a guard. And I think you secure the future. I think Joe. I like Neighbors, but getting Keenan Allen, there's only so many balls you can throw. So
Yeah,
to
but Keenan
invest
Allen's only going to be around for a year or two
a year and a
max.
half. But yeah, but we're going to draft again next year and the year after that. So it's like there'll be new young guys we could draft and add when Keenan Allen's done. And at some point you do have to trust your scouting. Maybe Keenan Allen joining Tyler Scott. You know what I mean? He's just rookie woes and he'll be a little bit better next year. I do like Neighbors. I like Roma. I like Neighbors more than Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze reminds me of Quentin Johnson a little bit. Just a pass heavy offense where like just a lot of Washington's offense was like shit that's not going to work in the NFL. Like deep ass like crossing routes, like where that's why they got shit on by Michigan because they weren't used to playing somebody who wasn't going to give them 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds to pass the ball and him to sling it the whole time. But I like Neighbors, but I think if I guess this is the route we're going. We got to trade back on one of those picks, and it ain't gonna be one now. So I'm not saying go back to 20, but I think fall back if somebody wants to. If JJ McCarthy falls, or somebody wants Bo Nix for whatever reason, or Penix, fall back to like 15 and pray that maybe Odunze or whoever you might like falls. Bowers maybe he's not working out his pro day. Maybe that worries some people. He was just hurt. I don't know, and hope
Well,
somebody
I mean,
really good
they're
falls.
not going tight ends. They're not going to draft Brock
Well,
Bowers.
you're
Like,
not drafting Brock Bowers, isn't it? Like Brock Bowers is like a slot receiver, so I don't. And I just think he's a slot receiver that you could do some cool shit with. Like he's got the ability to block like a tight end. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't do it, but he's got the size and you know what I mean. You still get weird mismatch. I don't know. I'm not saying Bowers. It could be the kid, the one of the kids from Texas, whoever. I just think we have to trade back from 9 because there's still some holes we got to fill, and it's not just over. Like there's this year we got to win. I don't want it to be a throwaway year, and we have to move on and fine. That's fine, but um,
well,
I
there's
was pretty
still there's
comfortable
still
losing
one
again.
more. I think he's got one more trick up his sleeve because you've still got 36 million in cap space.
Yeah, but who's to go get?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
There's
what I'm saying.
something. There's something coming.
There
There.
has to be. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, 30. We're and like I said, all the questions are answered. We're getting Caleb, so we can kind of go all in. We could take on a bad contract if we really had to. Take a chance on some D end
Well,
or
we need
something.
another edge,
Yes,
and
we
I
need
don't
somebody on the
feel
edge.
I. And realistically, I guess you could go Caleb and get your edge rusher at 9, whether it be Jared Verse or the other
I
kid
don't.
or whatever. I
I
can't
don't
remember,
know.
but I don't
I'm
feel
not
like
high
any of
on
those guys are
rookies.
top. Yeah, I'm not.
Yes, I'm not very high on rookies. Like to bank on them coming in and being your savior, like coming in and being an
Well,
impact. Man, I
well, he
like
won't be a
Dallas Turner,
savior.
not savior, but just like that's why I say like get like they'll make an impact, like 100%, like especially on
Eh,
defense because it's just a change of pace.
Will Anderson.
I yeah, again, but there's always outliers, but sometimes like those guys are really 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 fucking good. Nick Bosa, you know what I mean? Those guys are fucking elite. But and I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying like we're all in on this next season, so fucking we can't like I don't know if we can bank on it. I think it's much easier to come in and play left tackle than it is to get 8 sacks.
There's gotta be something coming in
Yes.
terms of the edge position. There has to be.
Yes.
I
Or
can't
a DT who
imagine.
can pass rush, maybe. I don't know. And you know what I mean? It just I don't know. We need another pass rusher. It can't just be Sweat.
Can we
I think
trade for
this
Michael Parsons?
we should have. We would have traded the first pick for him and kept Justin.
I'll give him next year's first for Michael Parsons.
That's gonna take what fucking what
I'll give
could
him
you
next
imagine
year's
what did
and
Khalil Mack go for?
2025's.
Khalil Mack, what do
Huh?
we do? Two firsts for Khalil
Two
Mack?
firsts. Yeah.
Yes, it's gotta be what, three firsts?
I'll give him next year's first because if we're as good as we think we're going to be, playoff team, fringe playoff team, or whatever, we're gonna be picking in, the 20s. I'd give up next year's first and the year after that
I
for
don't think that
Michael
it's not
Parsons.
gonna be him. It's gonna be I don't
No,
know.
it won't
I
be
thought it was
him,
gonna be
but it'd be
Mac.
nice.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
they
It's
restructured all
got
those
like I
deals.
said, I think we got to go get somebody because the Bears defense is good, and we say they were top 10 because we played a bum ass schedule last year, but they got exposed against the good teams. Besides the Lions, any other good team we played fucking lit them up.
Yeah, we have to have another edge rush that, and on top of that, Justin Jones got fucking $36 million from Arizona. I was
Yeah,
not expecting that.
no,
That's insane.
I liked him,
So
but he was
so
okay.
where is I mean, is Gavon Dexter gonna step up? Is he ready to
He
play
has
that
to. I
role?
mean, that's what
You
I'm saying. Like,
know,
I don't know. Yeah,
him, Zach Pickens, and Andrew Billings. I mean, Andrew Billings is a good run stuffer. So, I mean, where everybody's looking for the next Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald just retired. He's gonna go down as probably, I mean, besides Lawrence Taylor, I would probably say the defensive goat. Um,
yeah. I mean, he's up there. I don't know. I like Reggie White a lot.
dude, Aaron Donald's just another fucking. He's not even
Yes.
human.
Yes. I know Reggie
So
White's got similar, like I mean not similar. I mean it's I guess it's easier to get sacks as a D end, they say I don't know, but
I'm not. I have no idea who. Like you said, I have no idea what's gonna. Something's got to happen. It has
that
to.
was my
It
whole
has to.
problem with like Foles was getting praised for that trade last year, but like we've got a lot. I won't say a lot, but we got some important holes to fill, and that's why I was so gung ho on keeping Justin. Because I was like, fine, let's say he's never a 4,000 yard passer. He throws for 3,400, rushes for 7,800, and we win 9 games or 10 games and make the playoffs. So we got a shot. You know what I mean? Anybody can get hot in the playoffs and just make a in hope, but now and like so we trade that pick and we're gonna have you know what I mean we're probably getting a starter on defense or something, you know what I mean, or plus 2 firsts. We can do a lot of shit in the draft and we're filling all these holes. Now we're getting Caleb at 1. We're probably gonna take a receiver. Like I said, I wouldn't do that, but I'm on your same page. I'm sure that receivers high on the list. I would like to get Joe Alt. Maybe they get a DN, maybe I don't know, maybe they like Verse. I don't know a lot about him, so I'll just admit that I don't know. That I hear he's a freak, but just usually the freak DNs are like, all right, we're taking this guy in the top 3 if they're that good. And if you're not a top 5 DN, that's too much wishy washy to me. Um,
So should they re-sign Yannick Ngakoue?
yeah,
They're.
at
I
this
mean, it's
pace,
almost.
he was
I'm
decent. He
looking.
missed what game was that? What was it? The Bucks. We should have beat the Bucks. He missed like 3 sacks in that game.
I know.
Like
I'm looking right now to see who's left in free
if he
agency in
knew he
terms of
was
edge
trading
rusher.
Justin Fields, why did we not get Daniil Hunter?
Daniil Hunter wanted to go home. He's from the Houston area. He wanted to go back
Okay.
to Texas. That's my understanding of it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the
This is like,
biggest
and
thing
that's
for
like
him was.
the double burn of the Justin trade to me important because like, fine, if that's what you're gonna do, you should have just fucking did it and went balls to the wall in free agency. At least got Christian Wilk, well, somebody.
I'm looking well, Christian Wilk, that
Again,
contract.
I don't necessarily like that contract, but what I'm saying is like, we got the money to spend. We've been being cheap, and it's like, go
Yeah,
get an
but
impact
you
player.
can't. Here's the thing: Ryan Poles has been nothing but consistent. He refuses to
Yeah,
overpay.
consistently losing.
Well, he refuses to overpay, and you know what? That's how we get stuck with Ryan Pace contract. So I'm perfectly okay with that. Per,
Name a
there was a
winning
lot of
team that
people
doesn't
that wanted
overpay
him
for
to
players.
overpay for Mitch. There's a lot of people that wanted him to overpay for Orlando Brown and Mike McGlinchey last year as offensive tackles, and look at those. They're overpaid bums.
They had an off season. They're not
Like
overpaid bump. Like, one season
they're
doesn't dictate it.
overpaid
But
bums.
what I'm saying is like,
Okay, so
any winning teams got you overpay players to win. You can't win if you're trying to be name the cost efficient team that's winning. Like, you got to pay to play.
Philadelphia.
Don't the Philadelphia paying AJ Brown? They're paying everybody. They got
Yeah, but
blessed to play.
they're not overpaying. They're not overpaying them at all.
Yeah, they overpaid AJ Brown. What do you get?
They're
4
worth
years,
every penny
25
that
million a year.
they're they're worth
They're off
every
all
penny
those
that they're
guys on
getting
the
paid.
offensive line. They're paying them way too much
All
money.
right, so let's see. The free agent edge rusher still available. Chase Young. Maybe take a flyer on him, like approve it, one
Yeah, I
year,
like Chase.
$15 million deal. Maybe. I'd be okay with that. 1 year,
Yeah, I
15
mean,
mil.
I'm fine with Chase Young. Him and Sweat got a little bit of connection. Make him,
Jadavion Clowney.
yeah, they
He's kind of like a gun for hire. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go to a
he's
contender.
gonna go to a good contender. I bet you he goes back to the
Um,
Ravens.
Mike Dana. I don't know who the fuck that is. He
He
played
went
for
to
the Chiefs.
Michigan. He played for the Chiefs. He's like he's more like a five technique, I'd say. He plays the end, but I don't know.
Derek Barnett from the
He's okay.
Texans.
I like Chase
Um,
Young. I forgot he was still out there. I would
yeah,
probably go Chase Young.
I probably would too, honestly.
Maybe a 2 year deal. So I don't
If
know
I'm
what he's
looking at
waiting
it,
for.
hey,
Um,
who's available defensive tackle wise? I didn't even realize this.
and
Calais
it's
Campbell.
situational. You just if he's really got that bad habit of taking plays off, you just put him out there in pass rush situations.
That's what I'm saying too. I wouldn't mind taking a 1 year, $15 million flyer on Chase Young. Calais Campbell's still a free agent. You could probably
Wow.
bring him on a 1 or 2 year deal as a veteran defensive tackle. Kind of show Gravon Dexter the ropes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bring a little bit more stability, veteran. Because here's the thing: with a rookie quarterback now and a young team, you're going to want those veterans to keep that locker room together. And I think Calais Campbell fits that, pretty well, especially with everything with Chase Young, everything I've heard about Chase Young in terms of he takes plays off, he wants to make splash plays, blah, 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 blah. Somebody like that isn't going to take any shit. You definitely don't
Yeah.
need anything in the secondary. You're pretty deep in secondary right
Yes, I think
now.
we're fine. Maybe. Yeah,
So I wouldn't really worry
Jonathan Owens
about that.
coming.
But you know
Getting
what?
fired.
Now I'm on the Chase Young. I didn't want to trade for him. I didn't want to give him a long-term deal, but I would not mind signing Chase Young to a 1 year prove it deal. I think that's the move.
I mean, there's still moves to be made. Fine, Justin's gone now, but then I'm like I said, in my head, you're saying Caleb's an up improvement from Justin, so we're gonna be better. So we need more if we're trying to go to the playoffs and win a game. And the Packers are only going to get better. The Lions are only
Absolutely.
getting better. The Vikings are taking a step back. It looks like I'm shocked they didn't make a trade for Justin. Maybe
Well,
Ryan
here's the
Poles didn't
thing.
want to send him there. I don't know.
No, well, they signed Sam Darnold. I'm sure they called, right? But anytime you trade in the inner division, the price is going to be higher.
Yeah,
So they signed Sam Darnold. He's probably going to be their placeholder starting quarterback. But they did load up on draft picks. They traded with the Houston Texans. Now they got picks 11 and 23. So Houston traded Minnesota the 23rd overall pick for 2 second-round picks. So they have ammo if they want to move up, they'll probably try and go get a JJ McCarthy, honestly.
oh yeah, they're 100%.
So they have 11 and 23. Maybe they try to make a run for New England and they try to go number 3 and get either Jaden Daniels or Drake May, whoever is going to be there at number 3. But I think it's going to cost them 11-23 in next year's first if they want to move up to 3. Does New England take that? I don't know. I don't know how New England's going to build
Now,
their
now
team
that
this
you say
year.
that, my guess is they try and make a move for Jaden Daniels because they got to also whoever they got to get somebody young. They can't roll with Sam Darnold because they got to keep Jefferson happy.
Yeah, they got to keep
So they
Justin
got to
Jefferson
get
happy.
somebody young who
Absolutely.
could sling it, and Jaden Daniels within LSU. That's after you saying all that. I'm guessing, yeah, that's and you saying they traded it for another. Maybe that's the move. They move up to three. I mean, Washington. In my head, if I'm Washington and you're not getting Caleb, you're begging to fall back. And you know what I
I
mean?
don't
Like,
know. There's a lot of talk about Jaden Daniels going number 2 to Washington. I guess they really like him.
yeah,
Um, he's been kind of shooting up the boards,
yeah,
kind of like Anthony Richardson last year.
yeah. Well, he's a
Um,
freak athlete.
yeah,
He's got
absolutely.
really good. I was reading like he good ball placement and one on one man coverage, but again, it's a hard to judge some of these guys because he was had like super wide receivers around him.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like I said, I guess we myself included got enamored with Justin because of that too, of how he played, and it's kind of easy to play when you got three first round draft pick wide receivers who turn into 1,000-yard wide receivers like with ease. Um, but I don't know if it's going to be that easy in the NFL. I guess maybe the Redskins, they do got a nice little receiving core. I know you were downplaying them, but I think, well, they let Logan Thomas go. I think he's okay. But Scary Terry's good.
Scary Terry is one of the Terry McLaurin, absolutely one of the best wide
Dotson,
receivers
I
in the
think,
league.
is a nice young guy. Obviously, they'll draft more people.
He reminds me
I
more of a
like Curtis
Darnell Mooney.
Samuel. Huh?
He
Yeah.
reminds me of a Darnell
Yeah, I would
Mooney.
say, I think Mooney's decent. I think, like I said, I think Mooney better. Like they traded for DJ Moore. He was our number one wide receiver. Then they traded DJ Moore, and he went to number two. And it just I don't like. And again, Justin isn't a gunslinger, so with Komet, with Komet, with Komet and DJ Moore, there just wasn't enough balls to go around. Guess he didn't want to pass it. Justin's like I said, we're not a slinger. We weren't a 40 pass a game type team, and he was the odd man out. But yeah, I would agree that he's something like that. Yeah.
Well, I want to bring up something too, real quick. I know this is kind of running a little long, but so a lot of there you brought it up earlier with the Deandre Swift signing 3 years, $24 million deals. The Bears are getting a lot of slack for that move, right? Um, I'm not on the same hate train as everybody else with that signing. It is only a slight upgrade over Khalil Herbert, but what a lot of people got to remember too is that Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert, not the best pass catchers out of the backfield. They're not. That's just it's the
Oh,
truth.
Roshan was
Khalil,
okay.
yeah,
Herbert's
but
bad.
he got limited playing time. You know, he's a fourth round running back for a reason, right? Um, DeAndre Swift is a much better receiver out of the backfield, but he's also a better pass blocker. Maybe not by much, but he is a better pass blocker, and like I said, he's a better receiver out of the backfield. With Shane Waldron's offense too, I think he kind of fits that zone read a little bit better than Khalil Herbert does. Khalil Herbert doesn't really have that breakaway speed. DeAndre Swift's a little faster, and DeAndre Swift's got a little bit of a better cut. That one cut move that Khalil Herbert tries to do, but it seems like he's got stone feet. Now I know you know what I'm talking about because we see it all the time. But DeAndre Swift, yes, okay, $8 million for a running back. We can talk all day about how we should have kept David Montgomery, this, that, and the other. But that's done and over with. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
just these moves don't make sense to me. It's like I think it's a similar move to the Roquan thing. It's like we got rid of Roquan just to pay somebody basically what we're going to pay him anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
I get it. I get
and we
it.
get rid of
I
David
get it.
Montgomery, our rival. He has a great season with them, and then
I
we
understand.
sign the guy they didn't want. Like that part I don't get. And again, if you knew you were going to fucking trade Justin, go get fucking Saquon. What is it? What would it have been? 5 more million a year, whatever. But it's again, these is like these safe moves. It's like if you knew you weren't
I
re-signing
think
him,
it's
and we're gonna
I think it was more so the guaranteed money because I think Saquon got 24 million guaranteed, which is what DeAndre Swift's entire contract
yes,
is.
but there'll be two. But you know how they do this shit. It's a 2 year. It's
I
really a two
know.
year deal. Like that part. That's what we pay polls to figure out. Like
I
I
understand.
understand it's not the same deal, but it's like this Justin. I honestly
He's got,
think
but
polls
he
didn't know.
DeAndre Swift's he's got less miles on him than Saquon and
Is
Josh
that
Jacobs
true?
do. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
I don't know if
younger.
that's true.
It is.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
Saquon sat out like 2 years, so I don't know. I bet you Swift might
And
have more
that's another
carries.
thing too, is that
Yeah, I mean
it's
that too. I'm just
the
again, but
availability. I mean,
while he's been available the last 2 years, Saquon's been pretty available.
yeah, but again, that there's that big. I mean, with
But
especially with
that's with
running backs, man.
any
You
running
see
back.
you
They're
yeah,
fucking
that's what
more.
I'm saying with running backs, man. Because I mean, you take a look. I mean, they're opposite ends of the spectrum. Adrian Peterson and Todd Gurley. Adrian Peterson came back like a freak, like 4 months early from his torn ACL, and ends up
But
almost
what I'm
breaking
saying
the
is like,
rushing
yeah,
record.
Saquon's looking like he's on the Adrian Peterson track. He's had two leg injuries and come back just as good.
I mean, only time will tell on that one.
Yes, and
I'm not
again,
as big of a
I'm
hater
I'm
on
not
the
I'm not
DeAndre
completely
Swift
hating on the
signing.
Swift deal. I think it's fine. Like I think that's what the market was. I do think we needed another running back. I'm just in my head. I'm like, all right, like what? Who the fuck are we saving this money for?
There's got to be something
That's
coming.
what I'm. That's all I'm
There
saying. Like
has to be something
that's
coming.
all. That's really what I mean with all this. Is like, who the fuck are we saving the money for? Like, I understand want to be smart and all this shit, but like, teams pay. Like fucking. Like I was saying earlier, you're talking about Philly. Philly traded a first and paid AJ Brown. Like you, that's what you got to do to win. Like
I mean, hey, we did it with
the Bills, who
Montez
they go out and
last
go get
year.
Von Miller. Like you got to go get people. Like that's just what it is, and it might be a bad contract, and that's where that's where you come into play, and you ask them to restructure. You cut them next year, like you make it really a 2-year deal. Like I don't know, like that's his part of that's
Some
what he's supposed to be doing.
Something's coming.
But
It
yes,
has to
as
be.
is right
It
now, like
has to be.
are we better than the Lions right now?
No.
Exactly. Are we better than the Packers? We just have to say no. The Packers just shit on the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah. I'd say we're closer to the Packers than we are the Lions.
Yes.
We're definitely above the Vikings.
Yes, as it is
But
right now.
yeah, but and see, here's the thing: the Packers did get better. My whole thing is that I can't believe they got rid of Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the same shit. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. I don't know. Yeah, Aaron Jones always killed us, so I don't really. Yes, I'm glad
I
they got rid
know.
of him because he shits on us.
I mean, he still
Um,
went to the Vikings either way,
yes.
but yes, no, we're not better than the Lions right now.
Honestly, I'd have
Um,
rather had Aaron Jones than Deandre
we're
Swift.
closer we're closer to Green Bay than we are Detroit. Detroit's
Yeah.
just um, and here's the thing is that we have an opportunity. I mean, we always talk about, playoff races and everything else like that. There's a possibility 3 teams can come out of the NFC North in the playoffs. We just don't know. We have to see how the rest
Yeah.
of the draft and everything else plays out. Next week we'll do. You want to do our first mock draft next week? Now that we know Justin's
Yeah.
been traded.
Yeah. We'll finally. I literally haven't even done one. I've been so I and eventually I'll get over it and hopefully Caleb is really good and I can, like I said, I'll pretend like I wasn't hating on him. But
The very
like
first
I
thing I
said, I
said.
am a Justin fan and I've never hid that and I'm not biased about that. But to be fair, we've been doing this show for a while now and I was against Caleb. I never thought Caleb was the guy long before I thought he was going to steal Justin's job. So it isn't like I think Caleb sucks because I said I thought Stroud was better than Caleb. I'm gonna find the video, but we did a video about Stroud, and I was saying how I thought Stroud was better than Caleb. Um, so that's really what it is. Yes, I'm gonna root for the Bears. It'll make for interesting, and I hope like a little bit of part of me will be rooting against them because I'll get to say I told you so. But again, I want the Bears to win in the end. But every interception he throws, I'm gonna bank it, and we'll be talking about it.
Well, let's just hope that in let's say 3 or 4 years from now, we get a Caleb versus Justin Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
How
that too. I'll
fucked
be
up would
watching, and
that
like I
be?
said, that part. This is a big turning point for the Bears. No, weird, like this was a pretty unique situation. Um, a lot of people, for whatever reason, it wasn't just Bears fans. It was half the world, I think. No matter, even though Justin had mediocre stats, like we talked, maybe it was the Mike Vick effect because we saw him make so many electric plays. Even in the passing game, he made a lot of throws that you're like, holy shit. Um, but he was just so electric at times that people overlooked his mediocre stats.
Yeah, still
Um,
mid, by the way. I went through all those comments from those previous videos,
oh,
talking about the shorts with Mike Vick.
yeah.
And actually, believe it or not, it was more like 50-50. 50, about 50%
People
agreed
agreed
with
with you,
me.
yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people did. It's not really that crazy to like when you look at his stats, like when you forget like all the crazy plays he made, and you look at his stats. Yes, it's not insane to say he's mediocre. I think it was more of similar to what Justin is. Just like he didn't have the guys, and you know what I mean. You only go as far as your team can go in coaching. I think back then too. they didn't know how to use Mike
Didn't
Vick.
he have Roddy White?
Yeah, but I mean that again, like it was young Roddy White, and uh, they used to drop a lot of balls. Roddy White got a lot
Oh
better as he
God,
got older.
Roddy White's rookie year was really bad.
Yeah, and even his next
It
year, I
was
remember. Like
really
I can't remember. I
bad.
would have to look to say. I just remember that was the thing about Roddy White. They used to drop a lot of
Did
passes,
he
and
have
again, they just didn't
Did
know
he
have a
have
coach.
Jamal Anderson too, or
Yeah,
no?
at one point, no, I don't. Maybe that was right at the end of the beginning of Vic's career, but I just think they didn't have coaches that could use him. Right, like as soon as he got to Andy Reid made him look. But and that's every quarterback. But Andy Reid used to do some crazy shit with Vic.
Oh
Um,
man, I'm
and I
still
think
pissed off about
I
that
think
whole
it's
thing.
similar with Justin. I think that's what. And like I said, I wish him the best. So hopefully, um, he wins the job in Pittsburgh and gets to prove that I was wrong because not only do I think he's a really good football player, he was a nice kid and
I have never. Here's the thing. I will be openly honest right now. I have never wished a injury on anybody. Okay. I really hope that Russell Wilson struggles or gets hurt or, not anything career ending or anything like that. I would like to see Justin play next year. Mitchell Trubisky played in Pittsburgh
well,
last year.
I think he's going to
Like,
win the job. I don't think they like you said. Russ don't make shit. What are they going to like? He's only there for 1 year.
exactly.
If George Pickens and the wide receivers like Justin better, if the team is vibing Justin better, which I think is a big possibility because Justin's an amazing kid and he's going to be on the revenge tour, and I think a lot of people are going to want to see Justin succeed, and that's the. I mean, Justin's got a lot of talent, and there's some flaws to his game, of course. But I mean, in my head, that's coaching. You got to know what your guys can't do and what they're good at doing, and you make it happen. Like,
And here's the
um,
thing, he could have went to a better coach in terms of wins and losses. I know there was somebody in the comments, I forgot who the fuck it was. And we appreciate the comments, guys.
yeah,
But the saying, he was talking about how, oh, I'm going back on my word, and I'm saying that football's a team game, but quarterbacks aren't a win stat. It was some stupid shit like that. And you and I talk all the time. Quarterbacks are not a win stat. It's just not, or wins are not a quarterback stat. Sorry. But he couldn't have went to a better coach in terms of his you know the stigma around Justin that he can't win
yeah,
because Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season.
yes,
So
exactly. So
regardless, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna win 9 games.
yes,
If Justin's
and
the
I
starter next year
yes,
in
and
Pittsburgh, he wins 9 games.
to
That's just a
circle
guarantee.
back, yes, and they probably make the playoffs. But to circle back, like that's why I feel like Justin has been scapegoated. I think this was a weird situation. I think if we didn't have the number one pick, this wouldn't be a discussion. I think
No, and
if
that's
we were
been the
just
whole
nine,
thing all
if
off
we were just
season.
nine, I don't think this really would be a conversation at all.
Absolutely.
So I just think Justin got scapegoated for all. His stats didn't look that good. His record wasn't that good, and it was just too much overwhelming pressure for Poles to stick with a guy that he never initially drafted and to basically tie his job. And like I said weeks ago, months ago, that I think at the end of the day, as much as I was Team Justin and really wanted them to keep Justin, I already knew that deep down the Poles was going to take Caleb because that's the safest play for him. If he keeps Justin and Justin, we don't win a wild card game and Justin isn't a top 10 quarterback, he's getting fired. Um, Based upon that move. Really, nothing that could happen with Caleb in the next 3 years is going to get um, Poles fired. You know what I mean? Like he'll get two
Probably
years.
not.
So that's just the safest play. Like I said, we'll see. We'll be doing shows and we'll see if it was the best move for the Bears. I don't think it was. Some people think it is. Who knows? It's a toss up. I won't pretend like I think Justin was a for sure lock top 10 or really proved anything because he didn't. I saw it and maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was my fan for the Bears, but I just felt like I saw something special in him. I think he was a good kid. I think he put in the work. And I think the Bears, once again, like they've always historically done, failed another young quarterback by not putting them in a position to succeed. And fortunately for Caleb Williams, it looks like they have broken that curse because unlike any other Bears rookie quarterback, offensively, he will have no excuse.
Unlike
Um,
any number one quarterback
and
ever
yes, in
taken in the
general,
history of the
yes,
league.
yeah, really, yeah, any young quarterback, really, I think no one's any really any rookie outside of being put in a, you know what I mean. Brady had a good defense. Mitch
I
had a
mean,
good
maybe besides
defense.
Justin Herbert, didn't Justin Herbert come into the league with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams?
Maybe, or did
I
Mike
think
Williams? Maybe
so.
the next year he got
Well,
Mike
Mike
Williams.
Williams is 30.
Oh, is
So,
oh shit.
yeah.
Maybe he did have both of them. Yeah, but
So,
they were both banged up. They were never playing. But yeah,
no,
something
yeah,
similar to
no.
that. But that's why. So we'll see. The pressure's on for Eberflus. He's fired if we don't win for sure.
Absolutely.
So that again, that was another
100%.
weird thing where I was like, if you're getting Caleb to fire Eberflus,
I agree. You will not catch
because
an argument from me there.
this creates weird things that are going to happen in the next offense, the next off season. It's like
Yes.
if we're trying to break cycles, we needed some continuity. You could have hired a new coach. Then everybody would have knew too. That was more of a. I think keeping Eberflus was one of those things where it's like you're keeping all these people who are loyal to Justin, and so when they answer questions, you know what I mean. Of course, they're gonna just say these things that make us feel like, oh, we're keeping Justin because they kept Eberflus. Eberflus likes Justin. But we'll see. They're banking it all that Caleb is the guy. Um, I mean, I guess I certainly hope he is.
Yeah, all the
For
chips are in the Caleb Williams
the
basket now,
Bears,
man.
the Bears' sake, but just historically, it tells me. But again, no rookie's ever had what Caleb's going to have. But usually, rookie quarterbacks just aren't ready for the NFL. Some have. There's some outliers. C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy was pretty comfortable coming right in. But really, that's it. You know what I mean? It's like literally like a handful of guys, like 10 guys. Some of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen were bums their first 2-3 years. I'm not bums, but just like not the guy. Um, but all right. Um, we went a little longer than I thought we were, but it was a lot to talk about. Justin, it was
It
a
was.
it
It
was a
was a
big
lot of stuff.
deal. Free agency. Um, the debate's over. We're entering the new era, the Caleb era. The Foles is, you know what I mean. This is his team now. The rebuild is over. So
Yep.
I mean, we can't be using that term, that excuse anymore. The rebuild is over. And yeah, I'm ready to see some winning, and I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope the best for Justin. Like I said, we still got a couple more moves to make. I hope maybe Chase Young, a trade for somebody. I don't know what it is. We still need some.
Oh.
It's not over. Um,
Now, one last thing before you end the episode, before you end the podcast. Congratulations on the baby girl.
oh yeah,
Healthy.
yeah, baby, yeah.
Congratulations.
What was it
That's awesome.
3/14 Pi Day?
Yes,
My wife
absolutely.
they actually let her not push for 10 minutes because she didn't want to have the baby on the 13th. So they obliged her, and she literally popped the baby out at 12:01 right after midnight because she didn't want her birthday to be 3/30 or to be the 13th.
That's awesome.
But all right, guys, bear down, like, follow, subscribe, comment, please. Um, and we'll start doing our mock drafts and moving on. You won't have to hear too much more of me defending Justin. I'll still throw him in there, and then again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Caleb, and like I said, hopefully he shuts me up. But adios, like, follow, subscribe. Thank you.
See
I'll
you
talk to
next
you next
week.
week. Adios.